to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again today. Man, we have another show lined up for y'all. We have a special guest like we always do. Today, we're going to talk to a business mentor and community leader. She has her own business. Her name is Bri Norberg, and she's going to tell us amazing things about her journey being an entrepreneur, but most importantly, being an online coach. So first and foremost, I want to welcome you, Bri, to the show. How you doing today?
I am doing really well, and I'm really excited to be here. So I can't wait to get started.
I appreciate your time. I know you're doing great things. So let's start out first and foremost. Tell us a little bit how you got into the entrepreneurial world. What inspired you to do so?
Oh, I love that question. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years now. I started out as a personal trainer. I was working in more of a corporate setting. And within 3 months of working for a big box gym, I knew I did not want to work for other people. I have a little bit of resistance towards authority and being told what to do, where to be, at what time, how much I get to make, how to communicate with my clients. So very quickly, I knew that that was not the setting for me. So then I went into renting space from different gyms as an independent contractor, built my own fitness brand. I was also, I had a meal prep service called Smart Nutrition Meal Prep on the side. So those kind of synergistically worked really well together. And I got to a place where I just wasn't really fulfilled. Fitness wasn't lighting me up anymore. I knew it wasn't a sustainable career path for me. And about 4 years ago, I was introduced to the online coaching space and saw how much freedom and impact and ultimately the ability to create my own life by design. And that's really what drew me into the coaching space. I also run a networking community here in Sacramento. It's a nonprofit organization called Powered by Women, and we have weekly networking events, and it's just absolutely incredible. So my two businesses kind of feed into each other, and it's been quite the journey. I've been a business coach for the last 3 years. I launched my business, as most did, in the heart of the pandemic, 2020, June. And because of what I've built here in the networking community, I had already built trust and authority inside my space. So I saw very quick success after I launched my business coaching business. And that's where I'm at now. So I'm building my nonprofit community. We're expanding into new cities, and I'm continuing to build my coaching program. And I specifically now work with new and aspiring online coaches who want to launch their high ticket offer and grow their audience using social media. So that is a little bit about me.
So let's dive into your nonprofit, because I feel like that's very interesting when it comes to what you do, Powered by Women. What's some of the things that your community does? Because I looked at the feed. Y'all look like y'all do events and get-togethers, but what's some of the things y'all are focused on doing?
Yeah, so this organization is committed to uplifting and empowering and supporting women in business. So whether you're a business owner and you want to get plugged in, get promotional opportunities, get educational, content to help you grow your business and develop a strategy, or if you just love supporting women in business, we always say that you belong in our community. So we have workshops, more educational based workshops. We love happy hours and coffee dates. We've done hikes, paddleboarding events. So it's a variety of different ways to get plugged into our community. My goal is just to build community, and that requires, genuine, deep, authentic connections with others. We're not your typical networking community where we just exchange business cards and go our separate ways. I have this heart of just wanting to go deeper, and that's reflected in our community. So the relationships that have been built through that space is just really beautiful to watch. We actually have a big event happening next month on October 20th. It's a business mentoring summit. So we bring together, 15 of the top business leaders, entrepreneurs in their respective spaces, and they're able to mentor our community. So we just launched tickets today. So it's like top of mind, and I'm really excited to host that event. And we also have an annual conference called Brunch, and that's an all-day event. It's a brunch, but also it's kind of like a full day immersive experience with a keynote speaker and a small business fair and a panel discussion. And we've been having those for the last 4 years. The last one we had was 2022. And we had over 300 women at that event. So it's one of our biggest events that we have. And it's just a really special thing to see all of our collective minds come together to put on something that extravagant and large. So yeah.
Once again, talking to our guest today, Bri Norberg, and you can follow her on social media. She has a link tree that we'll have in the show notes, but you can also follow her on Instagram, Bri.Norberg, and also follow her nonprofit. It is Women of Sac. That is what she's talking about, Women of Sacramento, powered by women. Let's dive deep into the great sauce, because the audience is going to be like, okay, she's doing great things. She's successful. Y'all can read her bio. She's like killing it. I mean, let's just be real. Like, that is not easy to do. We all know that. But for your personal story, how did you have the focus to build your brand to the level it is? Because you're doing great numbers, but you also help change other women's lives.
Yeah, I think focus is very important to achieve the success that you're desiring. It's easy for us to get really distracted. I call it shiny object syndrome. You see so many people doing all of these fancy, flashy, different things like launching multiple businesses and new offers and building out a website and all of these things that other people are saying are important. And I think for me, I am such an avid reader, and I love to learn from other high-level successful mentors. And so I was always told to simplify my process and to get really focused. And that has helped me double down on what is working without getting distracted by other things. And I would consider myself a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I know that's a buzzword, but that just means we're like an entrepreneur through and through in our identity. So we always have different random ideas and different business ventures that we want to follow. And I've definitely done that over the last couple of years, but my main focus is my coaching program specifically for online coaches. So I knew that that was the business that I wanted to scale. So I knew that I needed to stay focused with the message that I shared, as well as refining and updating that program so it serves my clients to the best of its ability and delivers exceptional results. And that's actually something that I share with my clients is how focus, how simplicity, how simplifying your process and getting really laser focused on one thing is going to produce the most exceptional results. Because what happens when we divert our energy into all of these different opportunities, we are only able to give a percentage of our max capacity. So imagine channeling all of that passion and energy and excitement and creativity into one path. And knowing eventually in the future, once you have the cash flow to support other ideas and expansion, that is something that you can focus on. But until you've reached a level where you're able to replace your corporate income and you're pulling in an amount that is comfortable for you, pays the bills and then some, that is when you need to really get laser focused and simplify your process and get really good at doing one thing. So that's always been my journey. And that's not to say I haven't pursued other things. Like I get business ideas all the time, but it's like, I have to table that, or I have to really do research to figure out, is this actually a viable idea? Is this something that's going to produce success in a timeline that I'm desiring to? As entrepreneurs, we work without getting paid a lot of the time. And you have to analyze like how much sacrifice am I willing to put in to see this through? And is there other opportunities where I can see a quicker ROI for my energy and efforts? And that's why I love the coaching industry, because the barrier of entry is so low There's not a ton of pre-qualifications in order to get started. There's barely any overhead to get started. So in order for you to see a return, in order for you to actually like make money as an online coach, it's a lot quicker than, let's say, a product-based business or a brick and mortar or something like that. So focus has been a very important part of my journey as a multi-passionate entrepreneur.
I just talked to someone recently about, how they built their success. And they said the main thing is movement. You have to move. You can't just have happy thoughts and goosebumps all day, because in their words, paraphrasing, is if all you do is have that mindset, then they might see you that same way as a person next year because you're not moving. So for you as an entrepreneur, how do you keep that drive to make those moves, but also be careful enough to where you don't burn out?
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful question. And I think it boils back to my belief in myself and my ability to create success. I have developed a very strong sense of self, and I have confidence in my ability to build and to stay in the game and to show up and to have that long-term mindset. So that always really fuels me, because business is not linear. There will be peaks and valleys, and in the valleys is where you are most tested and where you grow the most. And in those moments, connecting to like why you got started. And it's something that's very cliche, like, well, always start with why, always remember your why. But it's like so true. When you are barely making anything, no clients are coming in, you got to remind yourself, like, why did I get started in the first place? And do I really, truly believe that success is possible for me? Because if you don't believe it in your core, your subconscious mind, those very deep rooted beliefs, if you don't truly believe it's possible, then you're never going to put in the action in order to create the results that you're wanting. So it's definitely a subconscious belief that will drive your behavior. You can like think positive thoughts all day long and try to positive affirmation your way to success. But ultimately, if you don't truly believe that it's possible, it's never going to exist in your life. So it starts with really uncovering and like pulling out those weeds, those deep rooted limiting beliefs that you may have adopted typically when we're, between the ages of 0-7, those childhood beliefs that we kind of align ourselves with. If we don't surface those beliefs and reprogram our mindset around success, then we're not going to be able to create it in our lives, because our brains are always searching the world for evidence of what we already believe to be true. So if we don't believe that we're capable of creating success, we're always going to find that in the world. That's called confirmation bias. Our brain is always scanning the world to validate our belief system. So I would say 100%, we need to get clarity around our deep rooted beliefs around success, around money, and reprogram them if they're not serving us. And then from that, action is necessary. So beliefs create the thoughts create the action creates the results, right? So we need to make sure we're reverse engineering. Our world is a reflection of what is happening inside of us. So if we have a shit world, if we're experiencing challenges over and over again and self-doubt and lack of abundance and all of these things, we have to look internally and get clear on where that is coming from, because we are typically the biggest barrier in our journey. We are the thing that holds us back, but we're also the thing that can propel us forward. And that requires self-awareness and the understanding of the fact that we're freaking responsible for everything in our lives, which is overwhelming sometimes, but it also comes with this personal power, this sovereignty, this autonomy, where we're able to make choices to impact our future. So it's a long explanation for your question, but I think it definitely boils down to those subconscious beliefs, which then will change the way that we start to think. And then because of that change in thought, we will start to change our behaviors and our habits and our actions, which create success.
And speaking of change, I mean, that's a word that a lot of people don't like, right? I mean, sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it means, oh, I actually got to get off my butt and do something today. But you as a business coach for online coaches and leading your nonprofit, Powered by Women, you're not just thinking about, all right, I got to do this every day. This is what you are living. This is your lifestyle. This is what you believe in. This is like, if someone, still a phrase from a quote I heard, if someone's on the treadmill next to you, you're going to hope that they pass out because you ain't going to be the one to lose. How do you build that mental toughness to say, okay, I know it's going to be crazy when I try to show up, but it's necessary for me to get results?
Yeah, I think it does boil down to like your identity and shifting from these more limiting beliefs about yourself of like, oh, I'm lazy, I'm a procrastinator, I'm not capable of this, I'm not smart, like all of these things that are really common, especially if you're in a place where you haven't seen the growth that you're wanting. You may not have started the personal development journey. We have a lot of these beliefs that come up about ourselves that keep us from actually moving forward. So we have to reprogram those beliefs and believe that, no, I'm not a procrastinator. I get shit done. I am disciplined. I work hard. I believe that I can create financial success. So shifting those beliefs, again, that stems from your why and how you actually take action. But I think remind me of the question so I can tie it back.
Oh, you on it. It's part of it was basically just how you have that mental toughness to know you have to show up. Yeah. So I believe in saying yes to things that scare you. I think when we're in a place of discomfort, that is where ultimate growth resides. And if we're talking on a like neurological level, our brains are designed to keep us safe. Our brains don't want to exert energy because they want to conserve energy. Essentially, they don't want to exert because they want to conserve. The brain wants us to be in a place of safety. And we know that no growth happens when we're in this place of comfort. When we're able to put ourselves outside of that space, that's where true growth resides. That's where we're able to refine our skills. That's where we're put under pressure so that we can evolve and expand. So I think reprogramming, I'm going to say that so much because it's so a part of the journey, reprogramming our relationship with fear and discomfort and partnering with them. When we experience fear, when we experience insecurity, self-doubt, those are indicators of upcoming success. So it's our job to recognize when it's coming up and choose a different response, where oftentimes when we're faced with fear, we retract, we run away. When in reality, success is on the other side of that, right? And it's our job to figure out how are we going to respond when these fears and self-doubt come up, and how can we continue moving forward in that direction, knowing that those experiences are going to refine us. They're going to allow us to develop this sense of confidence in ourselves and in our ability to get through hard stuff. So then when you're faced with future challenges, adversities, you're able to use all of this as a reference point, knowing and reminding yourself like, no, I have done hard shit in the past. I can do this. I can get through this. And that's been my superpower over the last 10 years. Like I made that commitment to myself to always say yes when something scared me within obvious reasons. Like, I don't want to put myself in a position of actual harm, physical harm, emotional harm. But I've done things that I am afraid of. And when I'm on the other side of that, I'm proud of myself. I build this trust muscle with myself, knowing like I can do hard things. And when you have that belief in yourself, you can do anything. And let me tell you, owning a business, being an entrepreneur, that is something that's going to be a game changer in your journey by being able to use those reference points, because everything kind of, overlaps. Like if you're doing hard things in your personal life, it's going to reflect in your business life as well. So that's definitely a big piece of wisdom that I could offer your audience, is making sure that you're reprogramming your response to fear and using it more as like a guide
on your journey, because that indicates upcoming success.
Once again, talking to our guest, Bri Norberg. And when you talk about those chapters of adversity, well, experience can have a comedian kind of feel to it, and sometimes pain can make you cry or laugh. How do you look at those chapters of pain and use that to your advantage to, like we've been saying, have resilience to not just be excellent, but to always pursue after your goal?
Yeah, I think we are, again, it's the response that we have to these things. We get to choose how we want to use our pain. And you hear stories all the time of people experiencing traumatic experiences and moments and events, and they use that as a source of growth, enormous growth, right? And I've had my fair share of traumatic experiences, and it's truly propelled me in a direction where I'm able to help other people. I'm able to guide and mentor other people through similar challenges and teaching them how to get through those things. Now, the opposite is also true. You can be more of a victim of your circumstances and have this mindset of the world is out to get me. And what is created in your life is going to continue to perpetuate that cycle. And you're going to notice that you have a lot of shit in your life because you're always blaming external circumstances. You're not taking that personal power back and starting to change the things that happen in your life. So I think that taking ownership, radical responsibility of your choices will allow you to continue moving forward and creating the life that you're desiring to create.
Here's a curveball question. You didn't know I was going to ask this question, but I think you're ready for it. Why should more women pursue being entrepreneurs?
Oh, I love that. So I believe deeply that when women have access to more money, we're able to create incredible things, not only in our own lives, but in our community's lives. When we have more money, when we have more self-control and autonomy and personal sovereignty over our lives, typically just because we're more nurturing as humans, like we create magnificent things in our lives, families, communities. When we are able to step into entrepreneurship, we unlock a new level of personal power. And with that comes beautiful responsibility, but also opportunities to become the best versions of ourselves. When we're able to create, I say like print money, when we learn the art of printing money and we get to decide how much we want to get paid, how much we want to make, when we want to raise or a bonus, when we're able to design our schedule based on our cyclical nature, based on whether or not we have kids or our cycles, whatever aspect that looks like. We're such complex, dynamic creatures as women. So when we are able to design our life based on these things, there's so much power that can happen from that. There's so much magic that we can create, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of those that we love. That's why I'm so passionate about helping women grow their businesses, step into entrepreneurship, because it creates incredible opportunities for ourselves as well as the people in our lives, and the confidence that it develops and our ability to nurture others and make an impact in our communities through the work that we do. It's like the most special place to be in. Not only do you have this freedom to do what you want, create what you want, this impact to truly impact the lives of whoever you're working with, but you're going to have this like financial abundance. There's no limit to what you're able to create in your life as it pertains to your, financial desires ultimately. So yeah, that's a big reason. I think that money is a tool. And when women have more money, we can do incredible things.
Once again, talking to our guest today, Bri Norberg. You can go follow her on Instagram, Bri.Norberg, and also follow her nonprofit, Powered by Women. She is doing that, representing Sacramento, so you can follow them on Instagram, Women of Sac on Instagram. Follow-up question. Say this to a woman right now, and she's at the edge of making that decision to go ahead and pursue her business. She already knows what she want to do. She's just worried about the unknown. Based on your own experience, how did you overcome the question marks to continue to strive to build your business?
I think that there's a belief aspect. There's a mindset aspect where you have to just take the messy action. And through that action, you're going to develop more clarity around what are the next steps. So it's definitely one of those internal shifts that needs to happen. But then outside of that, more tangible, find yourself a mentor who has accomplished the level of success that you're wanting to create in your life and ask them for directions. You do not need to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to do this on your own. Mentors, coaches have been around forever. It's not a new idea. And the smartest thing you can do is to align yourself with other people who are a few steps ahead of you or miles ahead of you and ask them how they were able to accomplish that success. They have the roadmap for you. They're essentially collapsing a timeline, eliminating unnecessary challenges and setbacks that you don't have to experience. Like there's going to be challenges along the way regardless, but there are certain things that certain mistakes that you don't need to make because other people have made it. So you can learn from them and have a shorter journey to success. So absolutely finding a mentor and then be decisive. When you make a decision, take action immediately. Oftentimes people get stuck in contemplation, stuck in this information age when they just are consuming as much information as possible, reading, learning, which is very important. But if you're not taking action, none of that is actually going to produce the results that you're reading about, right? So make a decision and take immediate action and find a mentor who can guide you through this process.
So when listening right now, specifically women who would be ready to receive your coaching or be part of your nonprofit that you run, first, remind people that event that's coming up next month, and two, how can they start the process to connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're local to Sacramento, I would love for you to get plugged into this event. It's called the Biz Mentoring Summit, October 20th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's going to be a great opportunity to connect with experts in Sacramento who, again, are those mentors who are a couple steps ahead or miles ahead of you. So being able to pick their brain and sit down with them and have those genuine connections with them is going to be super invaluable. So that plugging into networking communities, if it's in Sacramento, plug into Women of Sac. Outside, like other cities, get plugged into networking events because that's going to help build your network and your community. It's important to surround ourselves with other people who are in the arena doing the work. And then with coaching, if you're a new online coach or an aspiring online coach and you're wanting to build your business so that you can go full time and prioritize things that are going to get you the highest ROI for your effort and your energy, that is my jam. I have a signature business development program called CCA, and you can just slide into my DMs, and I would love to have an open, no pressure conversation about whether or not it would be a good fit for you. I'm very big on energetics and making sure that the people in my circle and my, sphere of influence, we align with our values, our drive, our ambition. So I love to have conversations about, what you're being challenged with, how I can give you some clarity and direction moving forward so that you can step into this space full time and build your empire and make the impact that you are here to make. So those are the ways that I would recommend getting plugged in.
Man, I mean, that's perfect. Well said. And I'll say this one quick thing before we close. I had a conversation years ago with a person, and we talked about, fear versus faith. And a lot of times they're both powerful. You just got to choose which one's going to lead you. Or you can be led by fear, or you can be led by faith.
I love that. And sometimes fear is a very powerful motivator. Sometimes fear is what you need to get you out of your situation that you do not want to be in anymore.
Boom.
I actually have a quote real quick. It says, here we go. Sometimes, I'll put it on here. Sometimes the only way to conquer one fear is to motivate yourself with a bigger fear. And that's like heavy because it's true. Because fear can be a partner for us in growth. Obviously, we need that faith. We need to believe that it's possible, but also we can harness fear, use it for our advantage in this journey. So just a nice little reminder.
Man, that's real talk, man. Once again, been talking to our guest today on Refocused Radio, Bri Norberg. You can go follow her on Instagram. It's Bri.Norberg. And also follow her nonprofit powered by women in the Sacramento area is Women of Sac. I want to say thanks again, Bri, for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate this.